If you read A Ballad of Falling Dragons on May 19th, this is the only video you need. I'm Ale.
And I'm Carla, and this is Booked and Buzzin'.
We're doing a 15-minute recap of When the Moon Hatched so that you're ready to read this book. And we're going to do this quick. 15 minutes.
So the first thing we need to talk about is the world. This is a unique world. The planet doesn't spin. It's just one-dimensional, basically. We have the sun up top at the north, which is called the
Burn.
And then we have all the way at the bottom, no sun at all. And that's constantly in dark. It's called the
Shade.
And in the middle, we have the fade.
Fade.
So time is tracked by ribbons of aurora. Each cycle is a day. Each phase is a cycle, is 1,000 cycles. And we have gods in this fantasy world. We have 5 gods. Yep. We have Kalis, which is the god of the Aether Stone. Yep. We have Balder, which is the god of earth. We have Rain, which is the god of water. We have Clove, which is the god of air. And we have Ignos, which is the god of fire. People can hear the elements' songs and wield the gods' gifts. Some people can wield more than one, some wield none, and the people who wield none are called nulls. That brings us to the dragons. So the dragons are regional. Up north, we have the cybersaths. They are northern, heat-loving, and they cannot survive in the cold. So they can live up north, they can go up to the fade, but they cannot go to the shade. Then we have moon plumes, which are the dragons of the south. They're cold-loving and they burn in the sunlight, so they can reside in the shade, potentially go a little bit into the fade, but they cannot go up into the burn. And then we have the molten moths. These are middle ground. They can travel anywhere. They can go to the shade, the fade, or the burn. And something important to note is, of all of the dragons, the moon plumes are the most difficult to charm, followed by the cybersaths. Not easy to charm, but still doable. And then we have the molten moths, which are the easiest to charm. The last little bit of world building that we need to get into before we talk about the plot is the Aether Stone. So life began to fill the world that these gods created. Each of the gods created the world in a different way. So the boulder created like the land. Rain filled it with water, so oceans and rivers, and then snow. Claude is the air, and then Ignos is the fire that burns things. Kalis kind of watched all of this and he was jealous of the other creators, but he started to, as these creatures started to come to life, so as the creatures started to come about, some learned to speak the language of the creators, but the most beloved creature was the winged beast called the dragons. And when these dragons would die, they would like curl up into a ball in the sky and calcify
and become a moon.
Yes. Yep. And Kalis started to drop these moons onto Earth, which wreaked havoc. I mean, it started essentially potentially creating like a doomsday for the world. 5 gods saw that this was a problem, and so that they decided that the only way to stop this was to trap Kalis
in the Aether Stone.
Yes, and that is what the Aether Stone is. It is something that is super powerful. It needs a very powerful siphon, so a person that wears it, and it basically sucks all of their power and energy and life, and it is handed down generationally.
And it dulls the connection to the gods.
Yes.
So it's basically mutes power. Mm-hmm. Time passes. Mm-hmm. People forget what the stone really is. Mm-hmm. 5 million phases passes, and another moon falls. Mm-hmm. And now we're in present day.
And now we're in present day with who?
Yep. Rave. I'm not going to give my opinion. This is a recap.
No opinions, but I will make faces. So yeah, we have Rave, who is an assassin in the Fade. She works for the Fjordur, which is just a rebel group against the Vagor regime.
She poses as a null, which means that to everybody, she can't hear any of the songs of the god, but we know that she can hear Claude, the air.
She lives with Essie, a girl that she met when Essie was young, and basically Rave saved her from the underground, really messed up, corrupt area. Essie's brilliant. She makes all of Rave's weapons, and they kind of like become roomies, but they grow affectionate for each other, even though Rave tries to keep a distance.
Yep. So in present day, Rave is basically hunting a slave trader. Tariq kills him. And we find out that she meets a mysterious stranger that kind of follows her. And then she kind of just gets away. Then she enters the house, and Essie had sneaked underground and gets stabbed. And the knife has Reg Zero's name on it, which means that he killed her.
Yeah.
Right. She dies in the apartment. She goes ballistic, basically burns the whole thing down with her body in it, and goes hunting for Reg.
Kind of stupid because she burned all her belongings. But yeah.
Yeah.
She goes hunting for Rex Zaros, but something interesting happens. We're reading from her perspective, and it's not her anymore. It's somebody called the Other, something that I guess possesses Rave and is just as deadly, if not more, than her. Uses all of her abilities, including the ability to hear Balder.
Yep. So now we find out that she can hear 2 elemental gods. Rex shoots her with an iron pin, nullifies her powers, and she's basically sentenced to death by dragon.
Yeah.
Okay.
But while she's in that prison, before the execution comes to light, she meets the same stranger that she met when she was hunting Tariq.
Yep.
It's somebody hooded, and he seems to recognize her in a way that she is kind of confused by. Because he seems to know who she is, and she doesn't know who he is. This mysterious stranger is Khan Vagor, the king of the Burn and the eldest Vagor brother. Yep. So there are 3 Vagor brothers, and each one rules.
So the twins rule the Shade and the Fade, and Khan rules the Burn. I just want to say really quick, this is funny, but he was very sure that she knew him and made her tell him the truth using a truth tune or something like that. And when she was like, I have no idea who you are, and it turned out to be true, he was like,
yeah.
But anyways, Khan basically gets in the middle of her execution, and his dragon Regan fakes eating her and basically flies away with her. We find out that Rhaegon and Khan are very bonded very deeply, and he can wield Dragon Flame himself.
Which is really rare. I don't think that they've seen that in centuries. It didn't become a very pivotal point in this book, but it might in the next, so keep that in mind when reading A Ballad of Falling Dragons.
Yeah. Khan is basically taking her to the Burn. In the middle of all this kind of roads, she's trying to constantly get away from him to try to go kill Reg Zeros.
Yep.
But there's like a few encounters sexually. Like he's very standoffish when he realizes that she's just doing it for like no reason. And
yeah, she comes on to him and basically is like, this means nothing. And he was like, never mind then, which was kind of weird. Indicates that there's something going on there.
Yeah. Yeah. So she runs away, hits her head, and falls in a river.
Of course.
She's saved by the Jokul clan, which is Khan's old tribe. They think she's the Kalu, which means basically that her offspring will tether the moons forever and there will be no more moonfalls. They essentially start a ritual that she has no idea what's going on, and she's just focused on killing Reg Zeros. But then basically saying, you know, whoever warrior wins, he gets to take her.
Yeah. Well, she finds that out while they're mid-battle, and then the warrior Hawk wins.
Yeah.
So he basically is like, all right, you're my prize now, and she objects to this and decides that she's going to
fight you.
Yeah, she's going to fight for her own freedom, essentially. So they do end up fighting. It's pretty evenly matched until he cheats and throws a snake at her.
Yep.
And it bites her.
She's poisoned.
So she's poisoned, and she basically starts losing the battle until Khan rips the roof off of this. I don't even know what it is.
It's like a cave.
Yeah, like this cave, but the roof is like also a dragon's carcass.
Yeah.
Like a
Well,
fallen
that's the entrance,
dragon's, like, yeah. So Khan rips it off with his dragon, and he lands and starts communicating with the tribe. Khan apparently is a part of them, or was at some point. He claims Rave as his equal. He pounds his chest 6 times, and he says that he will fight for her freedom,
Yep.
which they grant him. So he starts fighting this guy,
He wins.
and he wins. Yeah,
Anyways.
he wins.
He wins. We then find a little bit more interest within. We know now there are dire entries, and there is a Eluin that used to be the princess of the shade. We find out that she is Rave. Reader, you will know this.
Yeah.
Rave doesn't know this. So in the book, there is this back and forth between these diaries, and we start finding out who she is, right?
The story of Elowen is a sad one. She starts off as this young little girl who sneaks along with her brother Hayden on his quest to bond with a moon plume, which, remember, is the hardest and most dangerous to try to claim. Hayden gets paralyzed. Elowen protects them. He ended up stealing an egg, which does hatch, but it's got a weak wing because it hatched during very difficult circumstances. And when that little dragon's mother comes looking for it, Elowen tames it. This dragon's name is Sultra, and she gets them all home. As the dire entries keep going, we see the progression of Elowen's life. She gets older. She's kind of like revered by her family. She refuses to get married to anybody, even advantageous political matches with the Vaegor brothers.
King Alstrin, so that's Khan's father, wants her to marry his son Tyreth, right? She refuses. Her dad doesn't push it. But then conveniently, days later, Eloine's whole family dies. And she's taken. She's 18 alone and the sole heir. And they basically force her to wear the Ether Stone. It dims her connection to the gods. And through a lot more other stories, we kind of know that she was betrothed to Khan's brother. And she didn't want that to be the case.
Yeah. She was taken by the father of the Khan's brothers under the ruse of protecting her, and she's taken to the burn.
Yep. So basically, Khan's father invades the shade.
Yeah.
Takes it over, gives it to one of his sons. Khan and Eloine fall in love. We find out later that she is pregnant. And Alstrin corners, so the dad, right, corners Eloine and says, you need to marry Tyroth. And then he won't know that this is Khan's child.
Right. So the father knows that she's pregnant. He basically threatens her with essentially killing Khan, and says that if she doesn't listen, then he's going to do that.
Yeah.
But if she does comply, he'll be safe, and so will their baby. But Tyroth will believe that it's his son or his daughter, whatever it is.
Yep.
So she agrees and she leaves. I also want to mention, when she was traveling to the burn, her moon plume Sultra followed her. And what did we learn? Moon plumes cannot survive in the burn.
Yeah.
So she gets burnt to a very deep level. She gets blinded. I mean, it's described that there's like holes in her wings. She's so severely injured. And that's another thing that he uses to threaten her. He says that he's going to let her moon plume basically die here unless she agrees. So she does. She goes back to
The shade.
the shade with Sultra alive.
Yep.
And
Basically has to marry Tyroth. So at this point, you are knowing that Khan feels like is a betrayal. Like she chose his brother. And she knows that she's just trying to keep Khan safe. She goes to the shade, gives birth to this child. At some point, Eloine dies. We have no idea how that happened. But we do know that Sultra barges in, takes the body, calcifies in the sky.
yeah.
The baby, Kazari, is raised as Khan's brother's own. So we have no reason to believe Tyroth
daughter
doesn't know that that's not her biological.
We don't know if he knows. There's an insinuation that he was gonna use a blood something to figure out whether it was his or not. But we never know if he finds out or if he doesn't. All we know is that Kazari was raised believing that that was his father, and he basically just continues that ruse if he does or doesn't know, and Khan is none the wiser.
Yeah. And that's just the background on what the diaries give us. Then we move into a little bit of kind of understanding what happens in the burn when Rave finally gets there as Rave. She doesn't know she's Eluin. Khan brings Rave to the burn. She's healed by the Audio, who sees a silver scar over Rave's heart, a killing wound she shouldn't have survived. They don't end up telling Khan, and Vea, Khan's sister, recognizes Eluin in Rave. It's a very big showdown. How do you don't remember me? Like, she's shocked, but either way, she leaves the steed. She leaves to steal Eluin's diary from the Shade.
Yeah,
so
so
she's, like,
those
on a side
diary
plot.
entries that we were just mentioning, they're all in a book somewhere, and Vea's gonna go find that book.
Yep. As the story progresses, we're getting the sense that Khan wants to figure out why she left him, what happened, and how she's here, which is great because we don't know that either.
Yeah.
And neither does she. So as this story progresses, we then, in a way, he's trying to prompt her memory. So he takes her to an underground chamber. He'd been collecting moon plume shards for 23 phases, and it's because he's creating Sultra.
Yeah.
So she was calcified. She fell. Shards all over the world, basically, from the impact. He's been collecting them to create it.
And from what we know, Sultra took Eluin with her. So it seems like Sultra fell from the sky, shattered, and Rave was born, essentially. We don't know why, we don't know how, but that does lead to the title of When the Moon Hatched.
Yep. Through all of this, her memory flickers in and out. And then at one point, when they remove the iron cuff when she's in the burn, she recognizes Rain. So now we know that she hears 3 gods at this point. There's still like little things that she picks up on that she doesn't know how he knows. At one point, there's a festival. And
so they do a wager where they're playing Scrippy. It's like some game there, and basically I don't remember what he promised, but if she won, then they were gonna basically play pretend for one night where she's Eluin, and he would just go with it. And if she lost, and then in the morning she would have her memory wiped. And if she lost, then Khan got something that he wanted. I think it was something along the lines of like, she would stay and let him like tell her the truth, something that he's been trying to tell her that she's been avoiding.
yes,
She wins, so they end up having this. He very begrudgingly does it, but he does follow her around and let her play pretend. And then at some point, there are 2 dragons that start fighting in front of them, and she hides. And he realizes that she's hiding because there's something that she doesn't want him to see, which is dragon flames can illuminate
runes.
Right. And she has been healed to such a severe extent that it has left runes all over her body. She doesn't want him to see that.
Yep. And we don't know why yet.
I mean, you can insinuate because she was an assassin, but there's a greater reason for that.
We also know that she was a fire lark, so a fighter in basically like a fighting ring.
Yeah.
For the Scavenger King. So he was like, what are you hiding? Blah, blah, blah. At that point, they are obviously getting more bonded and whatnot, and they do sleep together. She mentions someone named Fallon consistently, kind of terrified what happens to people that she loves, but we don't know who Fallon is.
Yeah.
Okay. Rek Zaros arrives to the burn. He basically tells her, you cannot kill him, or this will start out of a war that I'm not ready to wager yet. And
he comes on a moon plume. What can the moon plumes not do? Go to the burn. So that moon
he's
plume,
tortured that moon plume.
Yeah, that moon plume is suffering, and it triggers something in her.
Yeah.
So while she does agree to not kill Rex Zaros, she makes a beeline for that moon plume and essentially bonds with it.
Yeah. Because He's there to hunt for Kazari, the missing Shade Princess who ran away from her own anointing.
Yeah. So very early on in the book, we find out that there's this Princess Kazari that's run away. And he's there hunting her down, trying to find her. It seems like it's something that she's done more than once, so it doesn't seem like it's something urgent for them. But her father, Tyroth, has elicited somebody's help in finding her.
Yep. So he obviously doesn't find him. He obviously doesn't find her. Khan lets her know when Rek leaves for neutral territory, and she basically follows him. In the middle of this, she's basically helped nurse the moon plume back. Khan is very much like, I understand you need to go do this, and like, I hope you come back. I think that's the vibe I got. Right?
We also should mention that at this point, she is aware that she is Eloin.
Yeah.
She just doesn't want to accept what comes with that.
Yeah.
Khan continues,
she doesn't know what it means. She doesn't remember anything.
She doesn't, but she shuts him down every time he tries to talk about it. She does tell him at some point, like, look, I recognize that I'm this person that you used to know, but I'm not that person anymore. And I can't give you whatever that person had. And he tells her, yeah, but we need to have a greater conversation. And at this point now, you and I know a lot about her past, about Tyroth, about who she was, about what that means. She continues to run away from it. She doesn't know what it is, but he tells her that he's gonna tell her the truth no matter what at some point. And then that's when this guy, Rek, shows up and she leaves running after him. And Khan says, please come back, which the moon plume that she bonded with is still there. And so she probably will be going back.
Right. So very important. The other is still something that we don't understand. It's like a we don't think it's a personality thing, like a multiple personality.
We have
theories. We'll get to that on another video. But basically the other shows up when she goes to hunt Rek. And the other uses fire from the fireplace. So now we're like, oh, so Rave, Eloin, whatever, here's all four gods.
Yep.
Right? Ignos as well. But we find out that the other has basically, it takes over Rave. So Rave is not present when the other is torturing Rexeros. And the other is hiding fire from Rave until she's ready. It isn't a split personality. The other knows about Rave, calls her someone that they care about. Right? So basically, in the ending, Vea sneaks into Tyroth's castle, that's Khan's sister, finds a diary, finds out that Kasari is Khan's and Eluin's daughter, not Tyroth's. Eluin's last entry calls Tyroth wanted a blood lace to read the familial origins, and if used, they'll point north to Khan. But we don't have any, like, he did or he didn't. And that was basically the girl's like in her teens. So we don't know what happened. We then find out that Kazari has been taken by the Scavenger King, which is said to be Vaegar's half-brother bastard and wants the throne of the Burn. He gives us a little world building as well. Khan beheaded their father and took his revenge. And the Scavenger King has asked Kazari to be, like, basically is his captive. And makes her write a parchment lark to Khan. She signs it, but hides a tiny little line in her name, kill the sadistic fuck. Arkan sees a parchment lark with no on it to pass by, and it lands in Kazari's hand.
At the end, a parchment lark makes its way to Kazari, and when she unfolds it, it says, I need you, and crossed out, it says, no, you don't under it. And this is the parchment lark that in the very beginning of the book, right before Rave burned down her house, she had a parchment lark that would just fly around her room, and it said, I need you. And when Essie died, in her dramatics, she crossed out the I need you and said, no, you don't, and sent it back to the original sender. So we know that Kazari sent Rave, Eloin, a parchment lark saying, I need you a very long time ago. Whether she knew that she was alive or not, we don't know. Probably not. But it's made its way back to Kazari.
Yeah. So where are we right now, right? Our main players. Rave is about to kill Rek or has already killed Rek Zeros. Khan is in the burn. He doesn't know that he has a daughter. Vea is
stuck
in the shade with Tyroth.
And also, Vea is stuck in the shade with Tyroth, and she is how do you say disfrazada?
Shape shifted.
She's shapeshifted into his lover, his pregnant lover. Fun fact.
Lovely. Kazari is a prisoner of the Scavenger King who is a surprise new player in this book series.
And all throughout, all three, no, not all three, but the Burn and the Fade and the Shade are on the brink of war with the Burn.
The Burn, right. So this has been, they're
Building up.
obviously the twins against their older brother.
Yes.
And Khan has been waiting
Yeah.
to build up his strength.
So there's
So
a
now-
lot that might explode in the next book.
So we said this was going to take 15 minutes. It took 20. I think we did good. If you want a more in-depth video on the recap, we have a 1-hour video. So you can check that out. And we will continue doing When the Moon Hatched content in anticipation of the second book coming out on May 19th.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Bye.